He would go, no worry. Be happy. Don't worry.
I thought he sung, Jeremiah was a bullfrog.
Dun, dun,
Was a good friend of mine.
dun, dun.
I don't think he did, because there's no way a bulldog would be friends with a fish.
Bullfrog.
What song?
Oh my god!
It's a
Well, that
bullfrog.
makes way more sense. Hey, I'm Nick.
I'm Steph.
And I am Miles.
And this is Chris, the screenplay fish, aka today Christopher Columbus, sent in by Gars Lemons.
See, I like the ones that are ocean or water related.
Nautical.
Not just fish related.
Nautical.
Yeah.
I also like Guz Lemons.
But we're not here to talk about Gars Lemons and the proclivities they have for naming fish. We're here because if VR doesn't make a big splash this E3, it is done. Boys and girls, we work professionally in video games, full time. We don't own VR.
Yeah.
What hope does VR have for the rest of people? Why don't you have a VR set?
For me, I have always found VR incredibly claustrophobic, having something strapped over my face like that. So that's a big part of it for me. But I also think that it's because visually, it's such a step backwards in quality, and the sort of the novelty of VR does not outweigh how shit it looks.
You mean like graphically and stuff?
Yeah.
You think it looks shit?
I do. Stephanie Bendixson, 2018, VR looks shit.
And it's interesting because you aren't necessarily the person I think of when I think graphics the most important thing to her. Like, I know you. You're not like looks matter. It's what's inside that counts.
I mean, to a point.
Oh, God.
I'm also pretty superficial. I don't need to, like, the difference between like HDR and stuff like that. Like, I don't fuss about that stuff, but I still want it to look good.
Miles, what's your reasoning?
I just feel that VR and the experience it offers can't give me anything that I'm not already getting in a gameplay experience from a controller or a mouse and keyboard. I just don't feel like it's a necessary addition to my gaming repertoire.
But you can look around yourself like this.
I know, and the times I've done it, I've gone, oh, it's nice, they rendered the ceiling and the floor as well. It's like, that's thoughtful, but did that enhance my gameplay experience, whether that's like from a multiplayer game perspective or from a story game perspective in any regard? No, it fucking didn't.
It's pretty harsh words.
What about you? Do you like the VR?
No, I hate it. No, I think VR's cool. I think it's cool. I think like to the person who is not the believer in VR, I think if they've never played it, you put a headset on someone and they go, wow, like, oh, I get it. Stuff like Resident Evil 7, terrifying. Like, that's like genuinely awful. Will never want that in my life. But if it doesn't hit this E3, then it's going to start fizzling out because developers are not flocking to it and making, like, more developers are flocking to the Switch than they are to VR to create like new IP and new interesting things.
Here is the issue that I have. I want people to keep making VR stuff, even though I don't really want to support it at the moment.
It's very hypocritical, Stephanie.
Yes, I know. Because I just, I've maintained from the beginning that I will not really enjoy VR until it's like The Matrix,
Like it's Ready Player One.
Plug me in.
Yeah. Ready Player One, yeah.
But even Ready Player One, like, I don't believe that the experience that they had represented was what they were getting from wearing like a suit and running on a treadmill.
Yeah, okay. You want to be unconscious with things plugged in.
Yeah, I need a slot in the back of my neck or whatever, and I need everything switched off so that I believe that I'm in there and experiencing and feeling everything as if it were real.
So
otherwise, there's no point.
So VR is a path to get you there, which you will not support.
That's right.
Or invest in.
No.
Steph just wants the cerebral implant now.
Yeah.
You're like, cut that middleman clean
Plug
out.
me in.
Okay, so the interesting thing to me about the VR stuff is that it is actually getting quote unquote more popular, right? Like the sales are going up. Last year, first quarter of 2017, 578,000 headsets shipped. In the second quarter, 800,000. Third quarter, over 1 million. And about half of those were PSVR, which is why I keep mentioning, because I'm like, if any of them are really going to catch on, it's the cheapest one that's the easiest to sort of use. But these numbers are not, like 1 million headsets sold in one quarter. That's impressive, but it's still not getting like a mind share.
But that's because it's still considered a risk. And again, it's such a step backwards in quality. I feel like people don't really want to attach their IP to it because they're like, I've got this cool idea and it's going to look really awful on this platform. So they're like, I want to save that idea for a platform that'll actually look good on, and then we can just kind of play around with this other smaller idea that we have and put that on VR.
It's like we said, you're talking about how hard it is to get all this stuff set, how hard it is to set up an entire VR system in your home. And do we need to see a situation where the VR set goes on and all the calibration, everything is like built into the headset and you literally just plug it into your controller and go?
Yep.
Is that a scenario where maybe we start to see the VR become more widely adopted across the gaming world, or is it still something that is so gimmicky? Because it's not, like, games that are built around VR typically are like the Shark Cage adventure, or like a roller coaster simulator, or a first-person shooter that just
the Batman
sucks.
one was good, and I feel like it's because the Batman one kind of plays into the idea of you being able to fulfill a fantasy of being someone that you've always admired, and so you're kind of living out the experience of being that person in a way that you couldn't in a video game. I think that is in a standard video game. I think that's something where it's giving you an experience that you can't have somewhere else.
So you think we should do that for like the Obama simulator,
I think we should focus on experiences like that rather than trying to think of it as another way to gamify VRify the experiences that we have currently, because I don't think
it's not the main dish.
It doesn't work.
It's not the main dish. It has to be an accoutrement to the gaming experience for it to be worth anything.
The frustrating thing is I feel like it would, kids would really get a kick out of it, but then you have all this problem with their like tiny developing eyes and not wanting to expose their retinas to something that could be destroying them while they're growing.
I thought the human eye never grows. I thought the eye
the same size
is
the
the
whole
same
time?
size the whole time.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm
heard
fairly
that.
sure. Look that up, people.
Your
and let me
baby's
know in the
eyes are
comments.
very large.
It's true, and they will just
But
get
one
smaller
day-
and smaller as his head gets bigger.
Yeah, one
and
day
bigger.
he's just gonna be like, just eyes.
They're just
because-
normal eyes. They're just like my normal shitty eyes.
I did watch kids.
I know my eyes. Are
I
shitty.
did
My
watch
eyes are
some
the best
kids
thing about
play
me.
Minecraft in VR.
Yeah.
And aside from the buckets that were nearby the kids to stop them from throwing up immediately, like they didn't seem to have that much fun in terms of like the actual tactile experience they were having playing on an iPad or on a Surface or whatever on their phones. Like that seemed to be way more engaging for them. So if kids aren't even enjoying this, what hope do we have?
Because I suppose it's slowing you down, isn't it? Like,
It is, yeah.
You know, when you can use a mouse and a keyboard to navigate a world, and suddenly you have to physically use all of your limbs and stuff.
It's just
all of your limbs.
all four of them at the same time.
I think VR being thought of, it's always thought of as an accessory to a platform, to a PC or to the PS4 or something. That to get it taken seriously, I think like PlayStation needs to come out, and let's use PlayStation at E3. I want to see them come out and go, the new PSVR is a completely standalone headset, and that will only play games that are made for the PSVR. There's nothing, like you can't play any of these games on any other platform, and that we've got, here are the 5 big developers we've got that are making something for this new console. Like it's a new console, because if it's an add-on, add-ons never catch on that mind share. It's always like, oh, I can do without that. Whereas if it's its own platform entirely, then it becomes something where it's like, oh, I need that because that's where I'm gonna get those experiences.
I agree.
I think we solved it.
I think we solved it.
I wasn't expecting the nods.
It's the music
I think-
peripheral.
But the thing is it ever going to get to that point if it's currently so expensive to produce what we have now and no one's buying into it? I feel like it's never going to jump that gap.
Well, maybe you could buy a PSVR or an Oculus or a Vive and actually push yourself towards that future.
No.
All right, there you have it. We put this question out to you guys. What is wrong with VR and how can we fix it? You gave us your screenSAY. First answer comes in from Gaming FT Weekend, who says price is an obvious problem, but content. Most of the experiences right now are more like wow factor tech demos. Once you've experienced the mechanic once, there's often not enough depth behind it, so any subsequent experience is a bit lackluster. I think that's true. Stuff like the job simulator, I love that stuff the first time around, and then I'm like, the only time I'll ever boot this up is if I have a friend who's come to the office, and I'm like, oh, do you want to try out VR? The second answer comes in from Blinking Loudly, and I don't know how you do it. Do it. There you go. Same discussion about any peripheral for any platform from any year. Price is a barrier for the casual gamer, plus peripherals are always viewed as a gimmick. That's what we were talking
We
about.
keep rolling onto the same 2 words, which is price and gimmick.
Yeah.
And neither of those are strong enough, Nintendo Wii, to, you know, encourage me to want to get stuck into it and really get invested.
Nintendo Wii sold very well.
I know. But like, when I look back, I'm like, man, that was such a mistake.
That's a bad example. Wii U.
Like such
Wii
a gimmick.
U.
Oh, Wii U, no.
Wii U with the gimmick with
gi-
the second screen.
Pure gimmick.
Yeah,
Because after 4 like swings of tennis, I was like, okay,
Is this the conversation that was happening when the Commodore 64 came out though? Or like the first the NES or something, where people were like, oh, it's a gimmick, it's never going to catch on.
the buttons and all that, they were like, it's never going to catch on.
Yeah, like
probably.
like I feel like there was a people were entranced by the idea of this new toy. And VR people are entranced from a distance and go, oh, that looks really cool. I'll wait till I can plug in. If we all are going to wait, and then we're never going to get it. And finally, Rebellion Retro says, yes, I use it, but nearly exclusively for sim racing. There is a very big market out there, but not in the traditionally popular games, and that is okay. VR will always be more successful outside of mainstream gaming.
That's true. I hear sim racing is massive with VR, but also other things like real estate.
Oh, because you can look around the home you're going to
Yeah,
buy.
yeah.
That's a great idea.
There's other applications for it.
I think you've totally hit it. We're being selfish. We want VR for video games, and we need to let VR go live its best life somewhere else.
That's probably like when
Don't you remember when VR first came out? Like the people that bought up the most like shares and funded the technology was the porn industry.
Of course.
One day, I'm going to be too old to drive, fly a spaceship, operate a mech.
You're
go
already
on holiday.
too old to do most of those.
No, I can operate a mech now. I'm still good. This is still fine.
Yeah,
Go on
have
holiday.
reflexes, man.
None of those things are going to be available for me at some point in my life. And at that point, I would love to be able to put on a VR headset and go to the Bahamas or go to the Met and check out a museum in virtual reality. That's where the application is going to be found.
That is nice.
Or
And
have
sad.
a
Very
wicked
sad.
orgy with Kratos.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
took a
I think
turn.
it's really sweet that you think going to space and piloting a mech are still within your grasp. All right, guys, what do you think about VR? Is it going to catch on? Is it right for video games? Do you have it? Why do you like it? Why do you not? Let us know in the comments while you're there. Use the hashtag #NameThatFish to name that fish. We're done. Is it an orgy if it's just you and Kratos?
No, then it's just
That's just casual lovemaking.
Yes.
That's-
No,
that's
I think
passionate
Kratos is someone.
homosexual love.
Kratos is someone who makes love to you. You don't make love to Kratos. Yo, yo, yo! If you enjoyed this video.
He was gonna say,
it.
if you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe and then turn on notifications.
That's so gangster. Also, we've got videos here and there if you want to check those out as well. I promise you, they are as good, if not better, than the one you just watched.
That's true. Take us out, no pack.
Yo, yo! I don't know. I don't know what to do now.